So there's new rules in place because the numbers are increasing. If you think you've seen Italy, you've not seen Sardinia.
Italian special.
It's like pizza you've never had before.
What was it? Right, good morning. We are in, or buongiorno as they say in Italy, we are in Sardinia, an island in the middle of the Mediterranean. It's not actually that close to Italy, as I've discovered. It's actually very far.
Fun fact, a lot of people don't even know where it is.
It's true. None of my friends back home know where this place is.
In Europe,
a lot of them.
European people, you'd expect them to know, but a lot of times they don't. And when they do, they actually don't get where it is on the map. They think it's much harder.
People get confused all the time with things like Corsica as well. So, we got back from Malaysia. There's plenty more stuff from us coming on Sardinia. Basically, Sardinia is home to some of the oldest structures in the world, some of the oldest living population in the world. Some of Europe's best beaches, amazing architecture, and of course Sardinian cuisine, I would say. This is Giulia's hometown. It's Giulia's hometown. So we're here just, I'm getting the locals kind of insight.
Yeah, the local stairs.
Yeah. Oh, and the locals stare a lot here. Right, so we're going to be showing lots of food, lots of cultural bits and lots about the city.
You only find here, maybe.
Yeah, there's some really weird cultural stuff they have here, strange stuff you wouldn't find in Italy. If you think you've seen Italy, you've not seen Sardinia. Look at this beautiful thing.
Isn't it?
Oh, we have the Santa Lucia.
Yeah, you've seen it before.
Santa Lucia, you'd probably say. My pronunciation is terrible. These beautiful narrow streets. This is something you wouldn't find in Asia. You've been missing this. Are you glad to be home or not? I thought we don't actually. I guess everyone's question is how things are being handled in Europe with COVID. So we're going to be covering what the situation is like in Italy with COVID and how things are being handled out here.
Yeah. Again, being Sardinia, there is a difference between here and Italy, because as we said, it's quite far from Italy. So basically, people only get here by plane, so flying, and it's not the same, is it?
No, there's less. It's not like mainland. So basically, Italy was initially one of the worst affected, but that was mainland Italy. That was Milan. That's been the worst affected. Sardinia was away from most of that, so Sardinia hasn't had the problems. The only issue that Sardinia has faced is Sardinia is a holiday destination.
Just because people can travel here that easily. So
Right.
And the rest of Italy spread quite quickly because people would just like get on trains and get to different regions all across
We got
Italy.
there. It's a bit quieter.
But in Sardinia, it's not exactly the same. So.
The only reason there's been cases here has been mainly because of the holiday destination Sardinia is, with some of the locals coming from, places like Milan.
Just people travelling, but not as many people as in the mainland. People travelling from Milan, not travelling from abroad really. But yeah,
so
obviously the situation is well different here.
The case count is very different, which is why we're not wearing masks at the moment.
Yeah, you have to wear masks indoor.
Right.
But obviously, if you're walking around the city in the day, no one wears masks unless you're in some kind of very crowded place. There's no need.
Yeah, what I noticed about Italy is once you got out of Malaysia, where they were doing temperature checks, they were registering you every shop you go into, so they take your phone number, all your details down, and they hand sanitize you as well. Ensure you're wearing a mask. I feel a lot of that kind of went out the window when we got
Vanished.
out of Malaysia.
Yeah, it doesn't exist in Europe.
You know, and the reason why Malaysia only has something like 216 active cases at the moment in comparison to 100,000 in France is because they're actually taking the precautions and the necessary steps, and Europe's been too slow on that, I think.
People mentality is just different. It's not just a matter of speed, it's just people think differently here. Some people don't even believe in COVID, so
Yeah.
it's actually true. A lot of people argue on the internet on whether this is true or so like an evil plan from the government.
You can see everyone's got masks. People are wearing masks under their chin. Not everyone is necessarily wearing them. These guys have got masks on.
Just got the first one. Should we go for breakfast finally?
Yeah, we should. Decisions where we should go for some breakfast. We're going to show you a tradition they have here, and Giulia's going to tell you some do's and don'ts when you're in Italy or Sardinia that you shouldn't do when you order coffee. But just quickly touching on things before we go for breakfast. Obviously, worst affected European countries are now, in fact, Russia, Spain, UK, France, and then there's ones creeping up like Ukraine and Romania.
So Italy is not even at that level.
No, Italy's really reduced it because Italy went into lockdown for a long time.
But the cases are on the rise apparently. So the rules have actually changed starting from today.
Yeah.
So the government made new rules just yesterday, I think. So there's a new update.
So there's new rules in place because the numbers are increasing, and the reason the numbers are increasing is because combination of more tourists and obviously locals going away on holiday to places like Croatia, who are saying that they've got a very low count of COVID, but they're going into clubs and all these kind of outdoor clubs and just people everywhere basically.
There's probably an increase in cases in young people as well, which is quite important apparently.
Right, so
registering an increase in young people.
So now the rule is basically they've said that after 6 p.m. and between 6:30 in public areas, you've got to wear masks. In square,
people need to wear masks. And plus, all clubs are closed throughout Italy.
All clubs are closed. Right, there you go. So all clubs are closed.
Any like dancing events.
Right, and that covers the whole of Italy. So that doesn't mean that Sardinia is in a bad place. Sardinia is actually in a very good place with COVID. But in where, some parts of Italy where Milan is, in Lombardy, all these different areas are probably having a real influx, especially Milan. Like Milan was crazy busy. We thought it was going to be empty when we flew into Milan. It was mental. I was well surprised.
Yeah, as busy as always, really.
But they're handling it quite well in Italy. You've got to hand it to them for a country that was the worst affected at one point at the beginning to now a country that's nowhere near that, and not badly hit, I'd say. Is that fair?
Yeah, but the government is panicking now. It's like people are really paying less attention, and you can clearly see the results.
Yeah, that is a big issue. Europeans, they don't really understand it like the Asian culture is.
Plus we just passed our biggest holiday.
Right, so it was a big holiday in Italy. Right, that makes sense. The Ferragosto is the big holiday, is it?
Yeah, it's some kind of religious, but not really holiday in Italy, where everyone goes on holiday, everyone wants to be out and do stuff, have fun.
Right, okay. Now we're going to go for some breakfast. If we think of anything more to say, we'll share it.
Yeah.
Cafe Torino. It's better.
You want to sit down?
Sì, just sit down. Sì.
Okay. Grazie.
Okay.
We're at a place called Cafe Torino, and we've just ordered a cappuccino, macchiato, and 2 pizza sfoglia, which is only found in this region and this city. It's like pizza that you've never had before, and they have it as a snack here, both in the morning for breakfast or just throughout the day as a snack. If you get there too late, they're all gone. But most cafes sell them. It's kind of like the croissant of the region.
So tell us the rules on cappuccino, what they do out here.
You can only drink cappuccino in the morning and like first afternoon maximum. It's a bit too much liquid, too much milk to be drunk during the day for most people. I think that's the rule. I think that's where it comes from.
Right. And the other thing they do in Italy is that a lot of it is standing up culture. So they'll go to a coffee bar, and unlike Starbucks and Costa and all that in the UK, and then coffee shops in the US or in Asia in somewhat, people sit down and drink their coffee very slowly, pull out their laptop. Here, a lot of people, in some cases, they stand at the bar and they have a coffee bar, and they just stand at the bar and drink their espresso and then eat something like a pizza sfoglio, and then that's it, and they're off and they're gone.
Good.
Perfect.
So
for all this, it came to £6.10.
Yeah.
Which is about £5.50, I'd expect.
Yeah, or £5.
Right, and now
Then I eat your pizzetta. Another famous thing are these tissues. These tissues are famous in Italy for being useless. They don't dry anything. Every cafe has got these tissues. What material is it? It's some kind of plasticky paper.
It's like a plasticky paper.
They are completely useless. I don't know why. We've had these for like 100 years, I imagine.
Right, let's bite into this. This is a piece of following. We're only finding this in Cagliari. As you can see, you've got
the capers?
tomato, and you've got some green bits of capers in there as well.
Is it?
There's caper in there as well, yeah.
Is it the big one? I like the caper.
So it's tomato, and it's like a tomato passata with capers in it, encased in this kind of puff pastry. You can see it flaking off. It's my favourite thing that you can have for breakfast in Italy.
It's better than in
or in Sardinia, in fact. A lot of the thing with the Italians is sometimes they'll have a lot of sweet things for breakfast. I'm a savoury person for breakfast, so this is like kind of my ideal breakfast. It's cheap, you can have it on the go. Usually costs about €1, so you get one of these and you're off. Right, so that was breakfast. That's a traditional breakfast in Sardinia. Done. Now we're going to walk up towards the old town. I don't know if that's going to be another video. I'm going to share some of the old town, a bit of history about the old town. But yeah, obviously things are recovering here, and there was a spike of cases in some parts of the country or mainland Italy. So changes are in place, but I think that's only a natural part of what the rest of 2020 is going to be like. And I think other countries are going to be bringing rules like that in. I think countries like Greece, who basically said that they had very little cases, are closing up clubs again. I know that places like Croatia that are opening clubs, and countries are basically seizing the opportunity to get tourism in place of risking more cases. Are they?
Yeah.
And I think countries like Greece, Croatia are really going to feel the brunt of it when their cases do go up, and I think they're going to be following the same procedure of closing clubs and doing what most other European countries have done. UK in particular still hasn't opened clubs, but people are still trying to find opportunities to get around it by doing sit-down events where they'll all be sat at tables and they'll have a DJ playing. As people drink, I don't know whether people do end up social distancing.
Car cinema thing, stuff like that.
Yeah. So people are trying to get around it, and this is probably what 2020 is going to be like. So it's the rest of.
You see what happens when you actually decide to just reopen.
It's true.
Then you reopen for a while, and then you have to go back to closing everything again.
Would this street normally be busy? I mean, it's a Monday morning though, so.
It's hot, not at this time.
No, not even with full of tourists.
Maybe, but if people are out this time, either they're very brave or there's tourists. So even as a local, even 7 years ago, I wouldn't go out 12 walking on this road unless someone put a gun on me or something. It's funny because in Malaysia everyone was like, you always walk in the heat, and I kind of feel differently here when we do. I actually understand them.
So COVID things are different. People aren't being registered when you go into shops anymore. People aren't. There is hand spray sometimes, but not in all shops, and you have to wear a mask in shops. But it's nothing like Malaysia, and it's nothing like Asia. So things are being taken seriously, and there are changes again. But whether it's going to ever get to a number like Malaysia anytime soon, with these procedures in place, I'm not so sure. It might be a tough 2020 for the whole of Europe. That was a tour on COVID-19 and breakfast. More to come from us on Italy. There's plenty more good stuff, some snacks from Malaysia that we're going to share with family. We're going to share with you guys some extra special cheeses that we're yet to share with you.
Something illegal.
There's something illegal that you're going to find out exactly what in an upcoming episode on here. And more to come from us, so stay tuned. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and make sure you stay in touch. Hit us up on Instagram, drop us a note on Instagram if there's anything you want to see from us or hear from us. Just hit us up. We chat on Instagram all the time, so just give us a follow on the Instagram. The link is in our description.
Good.
Perfect. Lovely. How much was the espresso? How much was the coffee?